The boat came with this propane stove and oven, but the owner wanted something more compact and safer. The propane stove with oven is not only big and heavy, it requires a vented storage locker for 2 gas bottles, hose, solenoid with switch, and propane sniffer. And even then, if you forget to turn off the valve at the bottle, there is always a small chance of explosion if the solenoid and sniffer fail. So we're swapping it out for a 2-burner Origo non-pressurized alcohol stove. It won't have an oven, but if the owner wants one, he can use the Swedish Omnia stovetop oven pan for baking. We have the old heavy propane stove out now and preparing to install the Origo alcohol stove. And the Origo has these optional gimbal brackets that we have to install onto the stove. These stoves are no longer produced, but you can occasionally find them used on eBay, like this one we got. This is the Model 3000 2-burner. And if the burners are turned off, then you can press here and you'll be able to open the top. And to install these optional gimbals, pull out the fuel canister, and there's just 2 bolts that they attach with, and the gimbals come with the bolts, and the stove's already pre-drilled, so that's easy. And then these plates need to be screwed on to the sides of the stove locker or to some other brackets. To install this stove, I've first assembled the gimbal brackets and measured the distance between them, and that comes out to 20¼ inches, and the locker space in here is 22¼ so that means we need a 1-inch standoff block on each side. And I've measured here where we want the bottom of these brackets to mount on each side. So when the stove is in the up gimbal position, the bracket is extending there, and on this side, when it's in the down non-gimbaled position, it can sit there with the bottom level to the bottom of the stove, and then we can measure how high we want the stove above the counter level or below, and we're going to keep it just above when it's in the up position. Otherwise, when it's in the low position, it would be kind of awkwardly low, plus it would make the locker storage underneath the stove too small. So we're going to maximize that by keeping the stove up a little higher. I glued a mahogany veneer onto this plywood front panel and traced out where I want the door to be cut out. And we can't get the jigsaw started until we make a plunge cut with the oscillating tool. And we'll keep the cutout to use as the door by adding some trim to the outside. Dry fitting the panels here. Have the blocks for the stove mount and a fiddle trim piece. These are sapele, a African mahogany, and the counter is Formica over plywood. And then a shelf with another fiddle inside. And there it is. Increased storage space, simple, compact, lightweight, and safe. Lots of storage under for pots and pans. And here it's sitting in the non-gimbaled position. There it is gimbaled. Still need to put the pot holders on here and finish some varnish work and then redo the counters and fiddles around it. So when you're not sailing and you want it to be down, it either slides that way or this way a little bit. And then if you make sure that the burners are off, you can push this tab here and it opens to pull these canisters out that have a wick in them for filling with denatured alcohol or high-proof rum if you're in the island somewhere. There's the galley.